What up, YouTube? I want to give a shout out to DJ Captain Cole for providing us with this funky music, and give a shout out to my partner, Baby S Mac. Welcome to another episode of kevmacvideos, True Stories. kevmacvideos. True stories. Today's episode is about pigeons. All right, let me take y'all back to the early 1980s. I'm not sure the exact year, but it was fresh in the 80s. And I stray in a pigeon. This pigeon came with my flock, spinning his ass off, came right on in the cage like he was one of my own. I go retrieve the bird, and he got a leg band. And it says Bruley Spinners.
There was this legendary guy in the pigeon game named Burnett Bruley, and I strayed in his bird one day.
They called Bruley Birdman. Depending who you talk to, he was Birdman from East Coast. Others, they swore he was a Piru. They swore he was a Compton Piru. I guess because he had a sister lived over there. So I called a number on the band, and this guy, Bruley, wants his bird back. He said, I'll give you a couple birds for that bird. So I'm like, all right. It was a hen. It was a female bird, and the bird was bad, too. It was a young bird, but it was bad. And Mom's taking me over there. It's this little short man. He's a grown man. He got a big-ass walk-in pigeon cage. I had never been in a walk-in pigeon cage before. So go over there. He got all these nice, pretty birds, little itty-bitty birds, nice, that roll their ass off. When I go to Bruley's cage, like, his cage is so knockable, like, so easy to break in his cage. Now, I ain't saying he ain't armed or nothing, but I'm like, man, this is velvet. Like, you can come back here and get some pigeons easy. Overall, as a collective, he had the best pigeons I ever seen. The best, hands down. I never seen nobody with better pigeons. And he was cool enough to give me a few pigeons. I think Bruley gave me some bullshit ass birds, because these birds didn't do shit for me. These birds was probably some stray birds that he gave me, who knows? But nevertheless, over the years, I kept in contact with Bruley, but I lost contact with Bruley. And so now I'm looking all around town when I start back raising pigeons after I got out of prison. So we talking early 2000s. And I'm trying to find somebody with some good pigeons. But you got all these pigeon clubs, and their pigeons don't roll that great. Like, they roll in unison. They stay in a kit. They flock together. They get judged on points for turns and all this different stuff. Well, I didn't want them kind of birds. I'm not in a pigeon club. I want the excitement of a bird rolling deep, like when I first began raising pigeons from watching my brother and some of those early pigeons back then. And so you don't really see that at this time no more. So some way, somehow, I don't remember how, but I get in touch with Curtis Melicon. And Curtis had the best birds I ever seen, but his birds was kind of large. They were big pigeons. And big pigeons eat a lot, and they shit a lot. So you got to do a lot of cleaning and a lot of feeding. But I like these birds, so I was a mainstay of buying pigeons from Mr. Melicon. When I go to Curtis Melicon's house, Curtis got some custom bars on his cage. Like, that's just out. Like, you're not even thinking about hitting his cage. His cage is so secure. And he had dogs back there. And he had a mom that was gonna pretty much watch over the property. And he had some other people in that house as well. But you're not thinking about hitting his cage. Like, nigga, you're gonna have to bring a torch, some metal cut. You're going to have to bring a whole lot in order to break in his case. So that's just not a thought. And it goes to show you that he really valued his pigeons. There was really some money in them pigeons for him. But I do remember one time. I remember once his mom came out. And his mom talked about how she was feeding the birds at one point. So when she's feeding these birds are breeding without Curtis being there. So he had a lot of pigeons that had been nested, and he didn't really know who the parents was. But he had a good bloodline, and he had some good pigeons. So I'm gonna take you guys back to early 2000s. Early 2000s, right around 2001, something like that, right? And the homie Big Cal had pigeons, he liked pigeons, but he didn't have no pigeons at this time. And I had a lot of pigeons. I had a big pigeon cage. I was breeding pigeons and I was flying pigeons. And Big Cal comes over one day and Cal wants to see my pigeons fly. So I'm explaining to Cal, I can't fly my pigeons, homie, because they just flew and I fed them. So if I let them out, they're not going to perform and they're not going to fly well. And Cal convinces me to let the birds out so he can see how they fly. My dumb ass lets the pigeons out. They don't want to fly. They don't even want to land by the house. They're not flying well, and they land on the wires. And they don't want to come down to the cage because they're full. So Cal has this bad look on his face, this disappointing look on his face. And he says, man, your birds ain't shit. He like, I'm going to just keep it real, man. Your birds ain't shit. I'm like, man, you crazy. He like, nah, for real. So I'm getting offended. I was hoping he was joking, but Big Cal wasn't joking. So I said, well, look, homie, I'll take you to where I get my pigeons from, and you can see his birds fly, and you can judge for yourself. In fact, I'll buy a couple out the air. So Cal said, all right, where we going? I said, we going to Compton. He said, damn, the Compton Crips? I said, nah, we going to Fruit Town Piru hood. He like, man, he like, should I change my clothes? Because he had on this LA Dodger cap and this blue Pendleton top and some blue khakis. I think he might have had on some blue and white Nikes or something more. But Cal was blue down. Ain't no doubt about it. He looked like a Crip. I'm blue down too. I look like a Crip. But I done been over to this house a few times. Dude raising the pigeons, his name was Curtis Melicon. We get in the car and we roll to Compton. We naked. We straight naked. Not talking about clothes. I'm talking about we ain't got no pistols. We ain't got no knives. Nigga, we ain't got a cake cutter. We ain't got nothing on us. We take the freeway. I get off on Wilmington. I'm headed south on Wilmington. And we just looking at all the graffiti, different dudes hanging out past a school or so. And we go through Front Hood, see a couple dudes hanging out, see graffiti on the wall, and boom, we hit Plum. I bust a right on Plum, pull up the Melicon spot. So that's where we go. We go to Plum Street, and Melicon flies his pigeons for us. They go way up in the air, and they doing their thing. They spinning, man, they rolling like 130 feet, 90 feet. They rolling, and they flying real good. He had big pigeons, so they were real strong. He had some large size pigeons. And these type of pigeons, they got muscle and they got wings. They can fly real good, and they can come out their rolls real good when they flip backwards, when they do the somersaults. So we go in the backyard and we watching the birds fly. And I don't know why, it just felt spooky over there. I would assume because of Tortilla Flats, Compton Varrio Tortilla Flats, the essays was over there going to war with the Pirus over there. But I never had no problems over there. You see all the graffiti on the walls. They just to the south of Bam's Hood, the original Front Hoods. And kind of a janky area. If you come from LA, it's a janky area. But we're in the backyard watching the birds fly, and Cal's impressed. These birds are flying, but then a falcon hawk comes, and he breaks up the flock. He's trying to attack the birds, and the birds are all over the place. And Curtis he's kind of freaking out. And then some dudes come, I can't say who they are, some younger dudes come, and they got a rifle and a sawed-off shotgun. Me and Cal look at each other like, oh shit, and Cal turned his back completely to him, almost as if to say, shoot me in my back. And I'm watching everything. I'm just watching the whole backyard. I'm kind of like at a 45-degree or 90-degree angle from everybody. And these dudes are red. They burgundy down. They got on more burgundy than I got on right now. And man, it was scary to say the least. And these dudes bust on the Falcon. So I'm like, damn, they bust on the Falcon, they'll bust on us, right? Nevertheless, nothing happens. But they stay back there and they armed. So we kind of like, we not moving around the yard. We ain't doing none of that shit. We just stand in our spot. We stand in our spot and both of us sweating, not actually physically sweating. We sweating the fact that these dudes got us cornered in the backyard and they can unload on us or do whatever they're gonna do to us and ain't nothing we can do about it. But Curtis is there and he don't seem to be having no issue. So I peep his temperament and his demeanor, and he's not tripping off them because he know them. And he ain't tripping off us. I assume he didn't gangbang, or, you know, when you get into pigeon clubs, it's like car clubs. People not really tripping off what set you from and that type of stuff. But that was a scary moment. Cal is overly impressed with the way this guy's pigeons fly and how they roll. So Cal starts talking about how he wish he had some money and he would buy a couple birds for me, or he would buy some birds and just let them stay in my cage with me. I'm like, don't even worry about it. Pick out a bird. So Cal's acting shy and shit. He don't want to pick out no pigeon. So I pick out a couple pigeons. I buy 4 pigeons. I buy a pair, which they breed, and then I bought 2 out the sky. I think I might have paid $200 for them birds, maybe $300 I paid, something like that. And so we get ready to leave, and I go to my car, and I can't wait to get the hell up out of here on this janky ass street with these Pirus over here. Let me get the hell up out of here. Let's get back home. And Cal was saying, man, I was scared as hell. I know, Cal. And so I take off going west on Plum. And then I bust a left. I think that's Paulson, something like that. We bust a left. We go a block or two. I think it's Cherry Street. When I bust that left and I get to Cherry Street, this raggedy ass Cutlass with 2 Mexicans pull up. And they almost hit me. So I'm like, fool, I want to jump out and fight. And they hit us up. What up, fool? They look at us, and the passenger got a rifle pointed up. But then they say, Piru killer. And Cal immediately say, yeah, Piru killer. And they proceed toward Plum. And we go on, hit Rosecrans and go west and get the hell up out of there. I end up hooking up with Brew Lee because I'm talking to Melicon one day, and he said, Brew Lee lived on the other side of Wilmington. So I used to go on the other side of Wilmington and just drive around looking for this dude until one day I finally found him. Birdman was still raising pigeons. He had some damn chickens back there now too. And I want to say he had some doves. Yeah, he had some doves as well. Had a badass pigeon cage and was still building pigeon cages. He built some bad pigeon cages. He built the best pigeon cages I'd ever seen. And I had Brew Lee build me a bomb-ass pigeon cage about 2004. Bomb. Best pigeon cage I ever had. Best pigeon cage that I ever had access to. Off the chain. So today's lesson, man, you got to be careful where you go in LA and Compton. You have to know where you're going, and you have to know who you're going to see. And you really got to know the wars that's going over there in the area in which you expect to hang out for a while. Because not only could the Pirus have tripped on us, which I doubt, seeing that we were over there spending money, but the Mexicans, they don't know where you're from. It don't matter if you got on blue, red, burgundy, whatever you got on. They know the area more than us, and they know where they going to hunt. So that was a scary ass day, man. Lucky we got away. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to leave a comment. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to have a few more videos coming up pretty soon. Take it easy. Salute my brothers.
Sitting reminiscing